Hello all, welcome to Alyx's World, a safe space for wrestling fans like you. This is a re-upload of my interview with ODB, where we talked about her food truck incident, TNA, women's wrestling, and of course, Sting, her very infamous story with the icon Sting, who is retiring soon. And I wanted to put this interview out to celebrate Sting. And also, it's been a minute since I talked to ODB. We might have to do another one, but here's the interview. I hope you enjoy it. As always, follow me on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and you know what to do. Thank you all so much. Enjoy the interview. I have a special guest here in Alyx's World. She is a four-time Knockouts champion, the owner of ODB's Meet and Greets, and of course, an author. Welcome to the channel, ODB. What's going on, ODB?
Going on? Yes, you got to add that author there now.
How you feeling?
I'm good. Life is good right now. I got a lot going on, but that's how I like it.
I know, right? It's good to see that you're keeping yourself busy. It's been a while since we saw you back in the ring, though.
Yes, I went back to Impact about a year and a half ago or so.
Hopefully we'll get some more chances to see it, but we appreciate you for all that you've contributed to the wrestling business, and always know that we fans are always going to support you no matter what you do,
Thank you. I mean, I'm not done yet. I'm far from done. I'm not retired. Everyone thinks just because I have a food truck business and adding on to that, I can do it all, just like Chris Jericho does.
Let's go. Every wrestler has that one match they go to that says, this is the match that made me want to be a wrestler. What was that match for you?
Oh, from back, God. See, growing up in Minnesota, I watched like the AWA and, like Dick the Bruiser and Crusher and like Macho Man and Honky Tonk and Jake the Snake, and just seeing those guys and then seeing them live, that's when I was like, oh yeah. But I didn't really think that could ever happen. I was like, those people are larger than life. They're superheroes to me. And then as I started getting older, I'm like, that's what I'm doing.
Man, those are some good names. Jake the Snake, classic wrestler, man.
Oh.
The name, ODB, of course, you already said it stands for One Dirty Bitch. So where did you come up with that name?
I actually had it even before I stepped into a wrestling ring. It was before my tryout at Tough Enough. And I called myself ODB, One Dirty Bitch. And it was just something my brother's like, you need a name that the fans can chant and remember. And then it's just like you build your character around that name. And that's what I did, because I had that name the whole time. I mean, there was a few times like when I worked for Harley Race, he did not like the name ODB, One Dirty Bitch. So I had to be called Jessica Dalton for Harley Race.
I do want to talk about your time in Tough Enough. So is there a side of you, even now looking back, going, man, what would it have been like to have worked for WWE?
No. Everything turned out how it's supposed to be. I mean, I look back at the Tough Enough, and if I would have made that reality show, who knows? I would have been washed up or in freaking rehab. Who knows what could have been, like I could have been a totally different road that I didn't want to go down. So I'm thankful that I had to go the hard way, the indies, traveling the road, and, finding myself and really doing it that way. I'm so glad I did not get picked for the Tough Enough show. So glad.
Man, look, it's crazy when we think about it. ODB being in WWE, she could have fought Trish Stratus. She could have fought Lita. You could have had matches. I mean, Victoria was there. Like, you fought her in Impact.
Yeah,
it's just crazy. I just think you would have been excellent in WWE. That's just my personal opinion.
I did miss that because I was just starting out. So I was so green. And I was going out there, having little matches, in the beginning of the day. I never had like a legit dark match or nothing with WWE. But me and Jazz, had good chemistry our first time wrestling each other, and she was very nice to me, and all the girls were, and Gail Kim was awesome to me in the beginning. And it's it was just kind of like shit. I was just a little, I was like maybe 4 years in the business. I didn't know shit. So
right. With the new regime though, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon taking over, is there a side of you that would be interested in going to work for WWE now?
I mean, the door has never been closed. I just never knocked on their door a lot. When my last contract was done in 2014. I stepped away, and that's when I just wanted to really not wrestle. I was like, you know what? I did my thing, and I just need to take a break. And that's when I started the barbecue business and traveling in my Airstream up and down the road and like stops. It was great. I mean, they've been in contact with me, and but we never got any farther than that. So, but you never know. I mean, it would be pretty badass to drive the ODB's meet and greet food truck right in the freaking arena.
Let's go. Come on, man. Is there anybody in particular in WWE right now that you watch and go, damn, I would definitely like to wrestle that female wrestler?
Oh boy. Well, I'm trying. Well, one of them would be Charlotte Flair. I would like to step up my game, and because she has it all. She can talk. She has. I mean, especially being a Flair, she really had to, step it up for that. But she's amazing athlete. Can talk on the mic. You believe her. You love her. You hate her. And I'm glad that she's taking a break right now to kind of recharge herself. But she's always been a star. And that's, I think we could have some good matches because she's more technical, and then I would be more of a brawler for her, and I don't think she's had that yet.
Bro, I hope we get to have that match at least one time before you call it, Let's go ahead and move over to your career in Impact Wrestling. So I had a lot of fans asking me for some reason, I wonder what ODB is drinking out of that flask. So when you come out with your flask and you're drinking it, what's usually in that?
Oh boy, well, I guess you got to find out. You got to read my book and find out. But there was some stuff in there. I did not have water in there. I can tell you that.
That's what's up, man.
I was never strong. Never put anyone, in harm or nothing. But it was just in case. I had to be real. Sting actually asked me. It was backstage. Me and EY were about to go out, and Sting was in gorilla position with us. And he's like, "Hey, can I ask you something?" He's like, "What's in there?" And I'm like, "Hey, you want some?" He's like, "Oh, no." And I'm like, "You pussy." And my music hit, and I go to EY. I'm like, "I just called Sting a pussy." Like, go, let's get out of here.
But you came in, I just like that you came in during a very noteworthy time. This was during the time of Gail Kim and Awesome Kong and all these great female wrestlers. Who are your top female wrestlers to work with during that time?
Oh, boy, God. It was because TNA, we built, all of us came from the independent scene. I mean, years, Kong came from Japan for years. You got the Beautiful People. We traveled the roads together, and Tracy Brooks. And it was just cool because we all were like so different. Yeah. But we all were a team where we're like, it's not about one person or two people here. It's about this whole division. And that's what kept us strong, and like, so the Beautiful People I love to work with because we were so opposite and it was so easy. The characters were fun, and we did some funny stuff with those guys. I mean, they're just fun to work. We didn't have to, it was kind of a night off, and working with Awesome Kong was great because I've always been the bigger girl, and then having someone whoop my ass was fun. And then Gail Kim always made me step up my game. She's very, one of the best, a very technical wrestler and a great mind for wrestling. And so she made me get out of my comfort zone a lot, which I loved. I love that.
And when we talk about Impact, we got to talk about your relationship with Eric Young. Fans loved your marriage, everything revolving around him. What was it like working with Eric Young?
It's funny because when they put us together, they had no idea what they were doing. And with our chemistry, we just winged it. They didn't write nothing for us. Like, they literally like, get this done, talk about this. And me and him would just crack each other up because he's a hilarious guy. And we would go off, and they're like, "Oh my God, what are you guys doing?" And we're like, "We're just being us." And we just had that chemistry. Then they're like, "You guys are getting married." And we're like, "Oh boy." But we wanted to make sure that it was not just another wrestling wedding. And the steel cage did good. So me and him were like really thinking like, all right, we got to make this good. And then having the other two girls, Sarah Stock and Thea, come out, and that was perfect. And I loved it. But now that I'm getting married in real life, I need a divorce from EY. So I gotta, I gotta serve him some papers here.
Oh man, we gotta do that angle. Come on now, we gotta make that happen on TV. Speaking of TV, have you been keeping up with AEW?
I do on social media. I always kind of see what's going on, and I hear the gossip. And
I just feel like right now it's such a great time to be a wrestling fan because there's so many options out there. I just said AEW, NWA, there's so many platforms. Like, how does that make you feel to see how much wrestling has expanded here in 2022.
Well, shit, you look back and you're like, damn, why wasn't it like that when we were like,
Right.
only TNA and WWE, and that's what you're working for. And I mean, now you can make a good living off the indie scene, where some people are jumping from AEW, going to NWA, going to Impact, like they're working the whole thing. I'm like, that's freaking badass. I love that. It's cool. I mean, there are some good people out there that really are just pushing themselves and they're just getting all over the place. And that's a great idea. Wrestling one night you're on, Monday night show, next night you're on Wednesday, and you're just, yeah.
I just was looking at something today about the tribalism. I'm pretty sure you see it on Twitter or wherever you're looking at
Yeah.
social media. People are just going head to head with WWE and AEW. We think this is better. We think this is better, which, can be good, but then they could take it too far and then it ruins the fun a little bit.
That's the thing, because WWE is always the big one, and AEW is awesome. Like, they all have an Impact Wrestling is great too, and I don't know why everyone's like, oh, I don't even know why Impact Wrestling still made it. Well, it's still fucking there, all right?
Yeah.
There's some good talent there, and it's smaller than what it was before, but it's still going, and people should be thankful there's all that wrestling out there. I mean, don't just think the grass is always greener somewhere else, and I just think it's great. It's got all this wrestling. I mean, I've wrestled for everyone except for WWE, and I think it was fun. Like when I went out in AEW, I did the All Out a few years back when they had the girls battle royal, and they were surprised because my food truck was there, but they were surprised that I was coming out. So just having like all those fans, I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool.
Speaking of your food truck, how's that going, by the way?
Awesome. It's a lot of work, but I had my trailer first, and then that blew up, and then I got my dream food truck back in 2020 when the world shut down. But that ended up making my food truck business even bigger because I hustled and I thought outside the box, and now it's we're having another one actually come, so we're gonna have 2 food trucks in 2023. So that shows you how. And then with my fiance on board, he's like my pit master, so he's helped my business even grow even more. And then he's gonna have his smokehouse trailer join the family, and yeah, we just want everyone to try this meet and greet. Want everyone to, who knows, we may travel with it, so you never know.
Apparently there was an incident where one of your food trucks burned down.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was just a crazy time for you.
Yeah, 2019, I believe, but it ended up being the best thing that ever happened to me. Someone from above like blew that bitch up. First, but I look at it like I was growing and I was growing out of that food trailer, but there was no way I was going to get a food truck for a while. And then once all that happened, and then the wrestling fans all came out, I started wrestling again and bartending, and then got my dream food truck and haven't looked back. So yeah.
I saw a lot of people come out for you. DDP, you said the wrestling fans, a lot of people were showing you love and support. That must have been really cool.
I mean, you don't realize how loved you are until something bad happens. Mick Foley helping me out, and DDP calls me the very next day. He's like, "What's up, ODB? It's DDP." I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Come on now, DDP.
Pretty cool. Yeah, I felt pretty awesome. That was awesome. That for all those legends.
It has to be validation for all the hard work you put in, because wrestling, I'm pretty sure it tears your body up after a while,
And it can tear your mind up too. I mean, it's sad that a lot of people have lost their lives over this business, and you get physical and mentally. It can be rough, but I have nothing bad to say about. I mean, wrestling has got me where I'm at today, and I'm still part of it, and I love the wrestling family, the universe. Like, it's just everyone's cool. The fans, the wrestlers, and I don't really have anything. Nothing. My career has been good.
Yeah, hey, I want to talk about your book. What inspired you to write this book?
Yeah.
There it is.
I always wanted to write one, but then, you always think about like, I want to do this, I want to do that. But so when I wanted to start this about 2 years ago, you got to call one of my best friends, Mick Foley, #1, New York seller. You kind of go to the person that's, on top of their game. So I reached out to him, and he came out to the food truck. I was in St. Augustine, Florida, and I just said, Mick, I want to write a book, and I need your help. Just guidance of how to even start it. And then he hooked me up with one of his publishers and sent a message and said, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you help out ODB here? I think she has a great story. And then we started it in 2020. So basically during the shit show we had, and started writing, and it took about a year and a half or so, and then made it. Yeah, then freaking yeah, that's pretty badass. I want everyone to like, because I'm the first actual knockout, Impact Wrestling knockout, to write a book, and I don't bury any. Well, I tell one person to go f themselves in my book, but it's but it's about sharing your story. Like, we all have a story, and if it can help, one person, or 1,000, 500 people, like, you did your job. And I just want to be a woman and wrestler, and it's yeah, I want more women to write books in wrestling, and not just like those books that we've had before from women wrestlers, like Who They Bang and stuff. But I want a real one, that work their asses off, and
Yeah.
and so I hope this encourages a lot more women wrestlers to write books and have fun with it. And it's a good read, and you will get something out of it. It's basically a motivational one where I tell people, stop being a little bitch, and live your life, and you're gonna have obstacles. You get over it. You're gonna have shit that comes up. Go through it, and then become one dirty bitch.
Bam. There it is. Is it available now?
It is. Go to my website, odbsmeetandgreet.com, and go right to the store, and you can click on it, and you can get an autograph signed book, or just the book itself. And I'm also going to be doing appearances. I will be at WrestleCade in Winston-Salem Thanksgiving weekend, and I'll have my book there, and my publisher will also be there. And where else am I going to be going? I do have a couple other appearances I will be at, but that will be the big one coming up soon.
I'll link it down below in the description for those who want to get it too. So one fan wants to know how you feel about blood in wrestling. I think Triple H just did an interview recently where he just feels WWE has evolved beyond blood. And then AEW, we see a lot of blood. How do you feel about that?
Not a fan of it, especially not a fan of women bleeding there. I don't think there's no need for it. It's overdone, where it's just blood. Like, where do you go from there? I think it's disgusting. I don't like it. It's just done too much, and I don't think any woman in pro wrestling should bleed.
How do you feel about intergender wrestling? Because we see more and more of that nowadays. Yeah. How do you feel about that?
Well, I look back because I did wrestle a lot of the guys, but it made sense. It has to make sense to me. I'm a big storyteller in the ring. And because if a guy actually hit a woman, you wouldn't be getting your ass back up. It has to be a certain character to do it. Like, my character, obviously, I could do it because I was always like, what's up, bitch? Drinking my flask, But we worked around it where, the guys would really never hit me, but we'd make a fun little match out of it. As long as you tell a story with it. I don't agree with like women like, oh, I'm tough. Yeah, let's go. I'm like, well, you're really not tough. So I go back and forth on that. As long as it makes sense. But if you're gonna have like a legit match and and be pile driving the guy and he pile drives you, but you get right back up, I don't believe in that shit.
Would you prefer WWE be TV-14, or would you rather it just be TV-PG? Does that bother you?
No, I want them to get back to the good old days. I think they need to bring back like the era, like DX and all that shit. Like, you need to have that stuff back.
You've been in the business for, I believe it's almost 2 decades now, right? Close to it.
2000.
When it's all said and done, and it's time for ODB to hang it up, or become a full-time meet and greets owner, what is something you want fans to remember you most for, if anything?
Basically, I stayed true to myself. That's the one. I didn't change my look. I didn't change the way I dress. I didn't change. I kept being me, and it worked. Like, that's the one thing I do want. Like, I didn't have to change my look or come back and get refreshed. I've worn the same outfit for years, so when I don't fit in my outfit anymore, then it's time to hang it up. I was a great character, and I just wanted them to like this entertainment, and I just wanted to make sure I entertained everyone good. Like that was, I'm not the best wrestler. I've never said that, but I want to say like I had a pretty damn good character.
I think you did too. I think you were awesome, and I think you will be memorable.
The fans made it fun for me. Like that's what got me going.
Hey, I appreciate you for doing this interview with me. Before we head out, please tell them, the fans, where to find you on social media.
All right, guys, you can find me all over Twitter, Instagram at the ODB Bam. I do have the blue check mark, so look for me there. And then Facebook is ODB's Meet and Greet, and the website is odbsmeetandgreet.com. And you can find my barbecue sauce, the hot sauce, and the new book. Jesse Creasa is ODB, one dirty bitch.
Today's video is sponsored by SeatGeek. If you're a wrestling fan looking for access to great seats for any wrestling event near you, then you want to use this app. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek stands as the unrivaled #1 ticketing app in the market today. SeatGeek constantly delivers incredible deals on ticket prices. When you're exploring the app, keep an eye out for the special green dots that mark the best deals. What's even better is that every ticket you purchase is backed by SeatGeek's buyer guarantee, with the option to return your tickets and even swap them before the events. So here's an exclusive for you. If you click the link down below and use the promo code JUSTALYX, you can get $20 off your first purchase. Yes, $20 off any ticket that you purchase using the promo code JUSTALYX. This is a sweet deal that you could use literally right now. So don't wait. Click the link, download the app, and join the SeatGeek family today.